says to me. I didn't know what to do, so I called Monty. I go, Monty who? He goes, no, Monty. And I realized he was saying my auntie. Oh, what? Hey, BOOZHOO ni Janashanabedug. Welcome back to BOOZHOO Nana BOOZHOO. And part 2 of the Amix Blood book review. Alright, so I'm gonna jump right in here. You guys know where you are. We're on page 5. And there's a picture of a castle. Alright, I'm just gonna start. Meanwhile, miles away in the ancient castle of the Blood family, Vladimir and Tina Blood, along with their daughter Lilith, were anxiously awaiting to hear from Dr. Fang. Vladimir, Mrs. Blood, Ms. Blood, please sit down. I'm afraid I have some bad news, the werewolf doctor said gravely. Tina reached for her husband's hand as her eyes filled with tears. Vladimir smiled reassuringly at his beloved and calmly wiped away a tear from her cheek. Without looking away from his dear wife, Vladimir said, Continue, doctor. How long do I have? Maybe a week, he replied. Maybe less. Lilith abruptly stood up and hurled her goblet across the room. It smashed into pieces upon the far wall. This is outrageous, she cried. Lilith, my dear, Tina began. Well, that's not her voice. Lilith, my dear, Tina began. Lilith swung around and, bending down to meet her stepmother's eyes, screamed, This is all your fault, Tina. He never would have given up blood if not for you. Vladimir got out of bed and shouted, That's enough. I went vegetarian for my own reasons. I knew the risks. Your mother never asked me to do this. She's not my mother, Lilith shot back. And if you hadn't married an elf, you never would have given up on being a vampire. My darling daughter, I know you are upset, but we've been through this 100 times before, Vladimir said calmly. Now, go get your sister. I want to see my precious Amix one more time before I go. Lilith paused to collect herself. Yes, father, she replied. I will get my half-sister. How could she refuse her father's dying request? I could fly there in half the time than it takes for me to ride. No, take a horse and bring one of the does for Amix, the aged vampire replied. She'll want to go for a ride after being locked up in that dreadful boarding school. As you wish, father, Lilith said, and turned to leave. Tina helped Vladimir back to bed. Perhaps she's right, Vladimir, she began. What do you mean, my love? Perhaps you should drink blood again. Never, Vladimir exclaimed. When I married you, my dear, I swore off that lifestyle forever. Darling, I never asked you to do that. You were a blood-sucking vampire when I met you. You were a blood-sucking vampire when I fell in love with you. Why won't you become that blood-sucking vampire once again and save yourself? She asked. You know very well why I cannot do that, he replied. What, my parents? Are you still trying to win my father's approval? Vladimir, we've been through all this. It isn't you. It never was you. My father just has a thing against vampires. No, it isn't that, dear, Vladimir said, taking his beloved's hand once again. I could only imagine how I would feel if you came home one night with so much as a hickey. How could I ever bite another person on the neck? I'd never be able to look at myself in the mirror again. Honey, Tina said, smiling, you're a vampire. You don't have a reflection. Vladimir smiled lovingly back at his wife and said, Yes, my love, how right you are. It's just an expression. Then bite my neck, sweetheart, Tina said, pulling on her collar. I'm afraid I could never do that either, he replied. I love you for who you are, exactly as you are. I never wished you were another vampire. I could have made you a vampire years ago, and spared my family the scandal. But I wouldn't want you any other way. Dr. Fang was moved by Vladimir's Blood's heartfelt speech. Mr. and Mrs. Blood, I will return to my laboratory and continue searching for a treatment for blood dehydration, he said. Thank you, Dr. Fang, Vladimir said. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Tina said. And uh, that's probably a good place to stop. Okay, page 9 of Amix Blood by Michael Lyons. All right, miigwech. I will see you again. Giga waba min, minowa. Oh, what?